Check, check. Hey, greetings, everybody. My name is Mage, William Brent Hanvey, Nashville native. I'm here at Music City Work Club, and we are about to have our first episode of the podcast party, which is actually turning into a live interactive experience where we have prompt-based writing rounds to get everybody in tune with what's going to set them on their journey or get them closer towards launching their podcast. And we're going to do it live. We're going to actually film and have volunteers that are participants of the event be the one asking the question and then one answering the question, and we're essentially going to build a community of accountability around that. So tonight's our first iteration. We're going to have the next one in June on the 4th Thursday, so stay tuned, follow us, and we're going to be building this together. So at the end we'll have a whole entire series together and we'll be able to tell our stories collectively. That's it.
Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the podcast party. I'm your host, Earthbird, and we're here tonight. We're here to talk to you. Would you actually introduce yourself?
My name is Robert Hartline. I'm the owner of the Music City Work Club, so thanks for coming into my club.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, give it up for Robert. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. So grateful to be here. Tell us a little bit about your podcast and the idea behind your podcast. What's the theme? What kind of people will be listening to it and interviewing? What kind of people or what stories would you tell?
I want to call it the spiritual game of business.
The spiritual game of business. That's an awesome name already. I'm in already. I don't know what it's about, but I want to know.
Yeah, it's about birthing of an idea that you get inspired and then the journey to actually give birth to it.
Which I feel like is a tough hurdle to overcome for most people.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing that here in the club. It's not been easy to make the baby come out. There's a lot of blood and guts.
Wow. Would you be telling your story? What kind of people would you interview? How would it start in that sense?
Well, for me, it's a little bit deeper because we're in the Bible Belt. And when you are maybe more spiritual and maybe on the woo-woo side of things.
Woo-woo.
And you kind of feel like you don't fit, or you get a lot of judgment from others when you are wearing that hat, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's been a little bit nerve-wracking for me to even be open to even doing that.
Wow. So sharing your authentic self, like your authentic spirituality and how you started your business, and that would lead to helping other people.
Yeah. And I my personal opinion is I think I was gifted an idea that I'm just simply supposed to execute. And it's because I don't really think this is my idea.
It's coming from a deeper place. I love that. So
You're so good at this, by the way.
I have a podcast.
Let's go.
Yeah. And then in other episodes, after you've told your story, I'm guessing, would you introduce it every time?
It's not so much about my story. It's about how to incorporate spiritual practices that assist you in business. Mm-hmm. And to me, spirituality is doing what you love with those that you love, so that we can create heaven here on earth. Heaven and hell is simply a state of mind. And I can create hell right now, worrying about, is it going to work? Stressing about whether it's going to be successful. Or I can flip that a little bit and make sure I'm doing the thing that I'm gifted to do. So I'm in the flow. So while I'm in the flow, opportunities arise. And I be just that and vibrate at a higher level because I do what I love. So to me, that is the spiritual game. It is a game because if you look at it like it's fun, it's a sport, it's not a lot of work.
Yes.
And I think we need to redefine work.
Yes.
And that's what I'm trying to do in the club, because it's not that I have to go to work. I get to go to work.
Yes.
And it's a practice that I have to do every single day to remind myself, this is fun, enjoy this. It's a game, so have fun with it. Don't take it too serious.
And I relate to that so much because I feel like when people have purpose and feel like they wake up in the morning and they're excited to wake up in the morning, that they have more energy and more, energy to do better or do more things outside of their little bubble. And that's what my podcast is about.
What's your podcast name?
The Critical Root Zone. And it's getting to the root of sustainability, which I believe is people. People equals planet. Because the planet, if we're healing ourselves, then we heal the planet, and it just happens in tandem that way. But in order to love the planet, we have to love each other, and in order to love each other, you have to love yourself first, because nothing is coming out of an empty, hollow shell of a human being. I believe that. And so my podcast would be sharing stories with about almost anybody, because sustainability is every single thing that we do in the world. It has an effect on the planet. So I started looking at my own journey and how I've healed and how it's really encouraged me and infused me with this lust, like this passion to just do and be and go. And I just want that for everyone. So I realized if we're asking people to go and like recycle or to like plant a tree or care about other things outside of the basic needs of life, that, you know, they wake up and they're like, well, how am I going to feed my kids? Or how am I going to pay rent? Or my, my mortgage and all this stuff that is towering over them. How do you think beyond that, right? So that was my podcast, and I had it going for almost a year on my own, and it was hard to do on my own.
Sounds like a reboot.
Yeah, I think we're going to reboot.
Reboot.
I am encouraged and inspired. I'm so excited. Thank you, Mage. Woo! Episode 1, segment 1.
Okay, welcome to part 2 of the podcast party. My name is Connie Jean Catalano, and I'm interviewing Chris Yost. Right? Is that
Chris Yost, that's right. Yep. Podcast party people, great to see you all. Great to be here for the first episode at the Music City Work Club here in Nashville. Very excited.
So I learned a few things about him just sitting on the couch. And I will tell you, I love people and their stories. So I try to pull everything I can out of everybody I meet, and I go home with them. So Chris here and we had a couple things in common. And he has a podcaster that you've had for a while.
Yep.
And I actually understood what he was having a podcast about.
You sure did.
Yeah. So tell them a little bit about what you're doing with your podcast and what you hope to share with people and how you want to enhance the world.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. My podcast is about blockchain technology, specifically the Internet Computer Protocol. I'm super passionate about decentralization, getting our data, getting our IP and intellectual property, our money off of big tech centralized platforms, right, and onto actual decentralized, open, public, sovereign platforms where we actually maintain ownership of these assets. And this has been a promise for a long time that has yet to be fulfilled, right? And most of blockchain has been associated with crypto and scams and rug pulls, and I'm very much not interested in that. But the cold hard like technological applications of blockchain. So
I'm not really technical, but about 7 years ago, I fell upon an article on blockchain, and I started to read it, and I went crazy, and then I read everything you could possibly think about blockchain, and then I called my financial guy, and I said, look, you got to put my money in some of this stuff. And he's like, well, what is blockchain? And if I'm a layman, I'm going to tell you that what I got out of it was that, you know how when we buy something online, how it goes through several hands, our money actually goes through several hands before it actually gets to the manufacturer, so then everybody gets a little piece. Blockchain makes it go from your pocket right to the bank. Or to the manufacturer or whoever you're buying it from. There's no in between people. That was the one thing I got out of blockchain, and I know there's a lot more to it. So he's the expert on it. That's all I know.
well said. Yes, it's about getting those middlemen out of the equation, right? And just going peer to peer when it comes to money. So I was so impressed and surprised and how much you already know about blockchain. And
I know, me too.
a limiting belief of mine when it comes to this stuff is I assume people have no idea what blockchain means, they don't care, or they think it's a scam and they don't have anything to do with it, right? So I'm setting myself up for a failure to start, but the first two people I brought up blockchain with here already have been curious about blockchain and done a lot of research.
So tell me on your podcast, how do you communicate with other people that don't know what it is? Because majority of people don't. How are you communicating that to them so that they understand it? Are
Great
you having
question.
some
Well,
fun with it, or?
most of the people, and I've done maybe 20 interviews, most of the people that I platform are already in this world and already have a very good understanding of these concepts. And so this is my new intention, is to bring the conversation to the layman and to the public and to friends and family, Facebook, Instagram, etc., instead of just my niche on YouTube and on Twitter and X that I'm serving. Because that's quite a silo in itself, right? So I'm trying to break out of that, and how do I make this digestible and accessible for the everyday person in all walks of life?
So I wish I would have met you and your podcast so I didn't have to read 10 books. That would have helped me a lot. But
Well,
don't people associate like crypto and stuff like that with blockchain that don't know
Yes.
too much about it? Tell us a little
it
bit
becomes
about
very
that.
nuanced very quickly, because blockchains are essentially, they're founded upon cryptography, and that's
Okay.
where it
That
becomes...
sounds like taking a picture of money.
And this is where I get overwhelmed with all, it's so technical, it becomes so technical so quick. It's like, how do I make this simple for everyone to understand quickly, right? And so that's why I'm here, to practice that.
Okay.
But so yes, it is, blockchain is cryptocurrencies, but it's also much, much more than that. It's software, decentralized software. And
It's not software we can buy, though. It's like in the apps, or, right? I mean, or is that?
no,
that's
you
the same
can.
thing?
So I've actually built my own software that I've deployed onto the Internet Computer Protocol, this blockchain that I'm obsessed with, and I actually have some offerings that are for sale. So you can actually create your own software that you own yourself, and then put that up for sale. And then when people buy it, they're buying it directly from you, peer to peer, to your earlier point, without any middlemen taking a cut.
Okay, I like that. Everybody get your money out and invest in that, because that's going to be,
Well,
that's
don't-
going to be a good thing, right?
I mean, I'm hesitant to tell anybody to spend money or
Yet.
put money anywhere, because all we've seen, for the most part, with this promise of blockchain and Web3 has been mostly scams, like I said.
Yeah.
So I want people to be thoroughly educated and confident in what they're getting themselves into. And most importantly, to use this tech first, more so than to make money off of it,
Okay.
right? So
right.
thank you for
Okay,
asking.
so
I'd
I
love to
take
hear
that
more
back.
I'd love to hear more about your podcast, Connie.
So my podcast is called The Best Life Ever, and what I do is interview people that have had really challenging events in their life, but they've overcome them, and they did not become victims. And like when we're walking in, or sitting in this room, how many people have had tremendous tragedy in their life, but you'd never know it because they overcame it. And the whole purpose is to inspire people that are kind of stuck in victimhood to get past it and see, hey, we have an opportunity to make something better and actually help people. So, and my podcast stemmed off of and a couple people here know this from podcast group. When I was 9 years old, my school caught on fire. I lost all my friends. 99 children were killed that day, and we had 99 funerals in 3 weeks. And somehow, we didn't have counseling or anything. Somehow I got a positive life out of that. And I decided to live for the two friends that died, that perished. So whenever I get down, I always think, no, I can't, because I'm living for Diane and Kathleen. And that was something I got out of it. And you find that with other people. And so I'm just pulling that out of people. So that's my podcast.
So beautiful and so inspiring. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, we'll do the best we can, okay? Hey. Okay, let me sit up.
There
What's
you go.
going on?
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous. It's my first time
Me too.
interviewing people.
I never been all these people looking at us.
Hey. Round of applause for all of us.
What we talking about?
Oh, well, so I'm Taylon, and welcome to the podcast party.
Okay.
And so, just tell us a little bit about about your podcast, and what's it about? What's the theme? Yeah.
My podcast is Hive Minds for Higher Dimensions. And I do this morning show. I have created my own talk show in the morning, AM hour. I was recording and posting daily. I am on YouTube. On YouTube, my channel is Conscious Dominium Empower Global Network TV, because that is my goal. That is where I'm headed. But I talk about spirituality, of course, but I talk about it in a personal way that whoever is interested, that they can have their own idea of their own higher power, because I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts that makes the things in my life. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I teach that life works if we work it.
Yeah.
What you
yeah.
working on today?
All right, fair. Yeah, that's really good.
What you working on?
Me? What am I working on? So,
No, I mean, what's working on you?
yeah. Well, being up here is one thing, yeah. I'm trying new things.
Yes.
So, just like general question, so how did you come up with that idea?
I came up with this idea through a lot of meditation. And let me clarify this meditation, because a lot of times the language, we get so selective with this language but we're in a new world now. So I came up with it through sitting still. I had an idea that came to me, and I began to sit still with it until it came into fruition. I teach manifestation and demonstration.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And now you're doing this podcast, yeah?
Yeah, but I have not interviewed nobody but you. Are you interviewing me? I don't be talking to nobody. I mean, I be talking to myself in that camera that. But
Yeah.
it works for me right now, but I am on my way to a higher place I've been doing this stuff for like 5 years, just on Facebook, messing around, joke, but it's beginning to form into something that's really crucial. I see it as a worldwide, global movement. I teach consciousness.
Gotcha.
Consciousness.
And how would you define that? Is it just kind of understanding yourself? Or?
Consciousness is your personal awareness.
Okay,
How aware are you of you?
Yeah.
Your divinity, your creator, your higher power. Who are you? How do you identify? It's real important.
Right.
How do you know where you're going if you don't know who you are? We must have a sense of self. And the reason why I push this right now is because of this internet and this copycat syndrome. All the girls want to look a certain kind of way, get a certain kind of surgery, and those kind of things that a lot of times the guys want. We all mimic and copycat each other. I teach authenticity. Who are you? Embrace your individuality.
That's really good. Yeah. Yeah, because I definitely agree with that. I believe that we are all created for a purpose, and so finding out what that purpose is important. Yeah.
And only we can do it.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's an inside job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think we spend a lot of time out in the world because we seek social acceptability. It's not easy sitting up here having an audience. I've never had an audience in my work profession, kind of, but not like this stuff.
Yeah.
This is my passion. This is what I do. So I'm trying to. I just got to Nashville.
You just got to Nashville.
I just got to Nashville.
Same.
Man.
How long have you been here?
A couple of months.
Oh, gotcha. I've been here a week.
Oh. But listen, I was here years ago. I'm actually alumni from a local university.
Okay, gotcha.
But many years ago. I'm not telling my age. You want to know my age? Go on my Facebook put. It's somewhere up there.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. That's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all want to?
Yeah, that's it.
I want you to know the spirit of this place. Music City, USA, and anybody that has seen a tour from me has seen me say this probably 1,000 times, but there's a reason all of us are in Nashville. I want you to really simmer on that for a moment. Since the 1920s, people have been coming to Nashville, Tennessee to be discovered. We had the very first AM radio tower on Concord Road in the 1920s. When you came home from work, you got around a radio. Okay? That has been happening for over 100 years. Imagine all of these people that are on this wall found a stage somewhere. Somewhere they found a stage and they got the courage to get on one. And if you were to flip over any of these albums, you find a list of producers and team members that helped them actually do it. And so what we hope to do is maybe this is the first stage you've ever stepped on. And you've gotten over the fear of getting on a freaking stage. And guess what? Nobody's died tonight. Nobody's died tonight.
I definitely feel alive. Yeah, that's it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, sweet. So we got any more volunteers up in the face? Boom.
Beautiful. Hello, my name is Ross Sun. Welcome to the podcast party. Joined by...
I'm Shannon Tackett. What a great idea. Thanks for having us.
Beautiful. Do you have a podcast?
I do not have a podcast. Okay. I would like to have a podcast. I have a few things to say. If I had a podcast, I think I would name it Anarchy. Okay. I think the word is misunderstood. I think a lot of people think it means just punk rock, which it kind of does, but mostly it just means sovereignty. And that's what I am all about. Give me liberty or give me death, you know? And I'd like to really interview people in the space. What I'm really interested right now is zero-point energy or plasma energy. So I would like to interview people that are starting to create that and make those breakthroughs, and ultimately creating new ways to operate in society, because I don't think the ones that we have are working very well. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that because it's like, I feel like, well, I have a couple points because I resonate with the anarchy aspect, and I also feel like it connects, probably for a reason, to the 0 point aspect, because from my own experience, me just being myself is actually, could be labeled as like being anarchy or going against the system or challenging something, but it's actually just me being at my center and at a zero, like I'm at peace, this is my frequency, I'm showing up exactly how I've chosen to be here. And because we've been existing in a system that wanted to create disharmony and separate us, that simply by being a frequency of like pure authenticity, it can be maybe considered anarchy.
It could be, yeah. And to the other young lady's point about loving ourselves first, that's such a great way to start, you know, and that is how we go about imparting change, you know. Yeah. And I think there's a little something to anarchy too in my mind, or the way I've operated, is the beeline, you know, and kind of the contemplation for me was, what's the fastest path to freedom? And I'm pretty sure it's free energy.
Free energy, like
yeah.
Freedom for like your own body self, or freedom as like
no
as
free
a planet,
like free energy, you know,
actually
actual
literal
Nikola Tesla 0 point
okay.
energy.
So it's more focused on like that aspect.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many people in this create sovereignty space, you know, and how do we restructure society, culture, you know, because the systems that we currently have in place are dissolving from my perspective. And even if they aren't, I'd like them to, you know, and so how do we emerge into this, you know, responsible use of technology? Right. And it's emerging. I mean, I see these really wonderful engineers and scientists on Instagram that are creating these new ways of generating energy, you know, which can clean water, power your house, grow food. You know, I want to talk about things like the absurdity of lawns. Like, what are we doing? You know?
And or do you have like suggestions for just maybe like the everyday person of like how do you start to implement or support free energy?
Well, I think it starts with knowing that it is real, that we actually do have the technology. It's just been hidden, and people are working on it, and we're getting there. You know, so I think creating awareness that it exists and that it's possible, and imagining a world with free energy, like game changer. Right? Because our collective consciousness shapes our reality entirely. So the more people that become aware of this, imagine it, and, you know, it starts to take actual shape in 3D.
Yeah, like knowing it's possible, knowing that we can let go of a lot of our like limitations of what we think we need to do to generate energy or systems we need to support to do that. So I feel like that's really helpful to have, to like be able to see, oh, there's people creating things that are gonna fuel my car or that are gonna support my house. And then from there, just being like a conscious consumer or conscious creator to actually channel your energy in those directions that support that becoming like accessible to the everyday person.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
precisely.
Do you have a name for your podcast?
Well, I think I'm going to call it anarchy.
Oh yeah, you said it at the beginning. Okay.
I think, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what about you? Do you have a podcast?
I have one that I've started like 5 or 6 podcasts, and my issue has always been being very clear in the beginning on like my intentions for like the long-term vision of the podcast. So that's why I was drawn here tonight, because I was like, all right, let me get structure, let me brain flow here, because no matter how many times I've started it and it's been like I can't keep it up or I don't know where it's going, things like pull me back into it, and I feel like I just have, for some reason, a voice and my story wants to be shared, even against my own being like, why? Which is my limiting belief, is I'm just like, what do I have to say? Like, that's different than other people. And as I was writing that down today, I was like, Ra, your story's different than other people. It's like your story.
You are truly one of the most brilliant people I've met.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and that's probably why I keep ending up like behind a microphone and trying to do it. I feel like there's this. I grew up being very like behind the wall of my own self and an observer to reality, and kind of dead, if I'm going to be like totally honest. And then chose at one point like, no, I'm like here to be alive. And that meant actually loving and accepting myself. And an aspect of me is being a trans person. And, you know, I lived the majority up to 20 presenting as female and believing I had to be. And I was dead inside. I wasn't being seen. I literally felt like I was in purgatory from reality. And I had enough walls broke down to where I was like, oh, this makes sense, and things clicked. And it felt like a full like resurrection and a new chance at life. So, yeah, and I just know what it's like to be dead. I know what it's like to be in hell. It's just horrible. And then I know what it's like to fall into that victim place. And I'm at a place now where I love life so much. I'm so happy to be alive that I almost feel like I don't need to do anything else. I'm like, wait, I'm here now. Like, I'm just like alive. Like, this is fucking awesome. And then now I'm like, oh, and now I can have a dream. I'm like, oh, I can have another dream. Like, because that was always my dream as a kid, to just be Ra, who you see now. So now I get to like double dream.
Nice.
And I think I'm just so content sometimes just being alive.
That might be a good name.
I forget that I'm like, oh, now it's time to dream
Double
more,
dream.
dream bigger.
Yeah. Double dream.
So I was calling it the Raw Sun podcast.
That's cool.
Because I really like the aspect of just shining light on other people's stories and then getting to relate and reflect on one another. But Double Dream's kind of a cool. It's cool.
So is
title.
Rossum. They're both good. You could have two.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, like limiting places for me would be continued and consistent inspiration and accountability. You know, so this is such a wonderful idea to help us with this.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
We're just on the other side of the table, other side of the stage from each other, microphones in hand, no plan, outline, and then our souls shine, where it gives us the space to actually work through self-limiting beliefs, to understand what our greater purpose is here. And really, it's to, as Ross so beautifully put, is to reflect back to each other. It's to shine the brilliance of our creativity, of our genius back at each other. And that's one of the magics of podcast, in my opinion, is that it gives us the opportunity to realize that we don't necessarily need a studio. We don't necessarily need all of this funding and stuff. If we have microphones and cameras, like, we can create this content together and we can inspire each other together. So that's a big part of what I want to do here. And I'm so grateful that you all, we got about another hour to go here, so we can, we've worked, I think we worked through some of the front. No, we definitely talked about self-limiting beliefs there. So, and honestly, I love how organic and candid and just naturally we shift through the things that come up. So that being said, we got any volunteers for another round? Okay, we got my friend over here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Todd Mitchell, and I'm here interviewing
Marvin Marcellus.
Nice to meet you. And first question, if you had a podcast, what's the theme?
What's the theme?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the struggles of recording artists, and I guess the title would be, why don't you just get a record deal? Because that's what people tell you when you're coming up. It's like your aunt will be like, "You're so talented, you just get a record deal, just do it." So yeah.
Nice. Sounds like there's some personal experience in there. Do you want to unpack that a little bit for us?
Well, yeah. So it happened to me, obviously, right? Coming up, doing music. I guess I really started doing music around like 17. So a few years into that, like, your family starts realizing you're serious about this thing. And then maybe you do a few shows, you do a few things, and maybe they see your success, they see a little bit of frustration, but they don't really understand, right? They'll say, just put it on the radio. Why don't you just get a record deal? And like, to a struggling artist or to somebody who's just coming up, you're like, it's not that simple, And I think over the years, doing more stuff, and I get my own confidence and stuff like that. But I realized that other artists were going through the same thing. And like, their parents or their friends, well-meaning, they all meant well, but they just didn't understand, like, the sacrifices, the choices you have to make to try to be an artist and try to be commercially successful.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. You say commercially successful. Is that the important part for you specifically, or for others?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I know it's not everybody's kind of goal, North Star, but a lot of times when people say just get a record deal or just put it on the radio, they're talking about commercial success, right?
Right.
Because their idea of success is Michael Jackson, is whatever their favorite artist is, right? They're thinking, oh, I saw them on MTV. You should get on MTV. You're like, thanks, Mom. Like, I'll work on that.
I'll just show up there and they'll just take me right in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So have you had commercial success?
I have.
Nice.
I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you share a bit of a story around that?
Yeah. It's probably still inspiring this kind of idea right here.
Yeah.
So I had a song of mine called Love Letter. It's a pop song. Me and a producer collabed. We mixed it down. We went to this engineer who's like super, high level, and mixed it down. Great. I got it played on Philly radio, and then Island Def Jam picked it up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Island Def Jam picked it up, and then it got played on Z100, which is like the biggest, I guess, top 40 station in New York. It's like, yeah.
Okay.
And so then when Z100 played it, meant it was on Clear Channel. So then like 234 other stations just picked it up.
Nice.
Nice. And it was great. That was awesome. I was like, what? I'm looking through Google, at page after page, and it's like my song next to the radio station. The problem was, I didn't know that I needed a radio plugger or a radio team, because it could be on their playlist, but who's calling the radio station 20 times a day?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it became one of those things where like you could get that, but there's still this other piece where it's like, what? It's on Z100. Yeah, they played it 2 times. Like, I mean, great, awesome. I
How
have
do you
that.
keep that pushing, right?
Yeah, but then and then later on you find out, oh, maybe I need like $30,000 to do a national campaign,
Right.
Or $5,000 in my local market to play it on my local radio. But these are things you have to learn as an artist, I guess.
Right. So podcast will be around that specific topic, the how-tos and the subtle aspects of what that industry is like.
Yeah, and I want to help other people because I think what what breaks my heart is when I meet somebody and they say, I used to be a songwriter. I used to make music. And I'm like, no, what do you mean used to? No. I don't feel that.
Why did you give that
That's
up?
not a used to. It's like I used to be a painter. No, you can always paint.
Yeah.
But people give up because it's hard. It's a grind.
Yeah.
So I would help.
So that makes me wonder. You touched on it just a moment ago, but I'm really curious. Do you remember the moment, what you experienced and felt when you heard your song played on the radio for the first time?
Yeah.
Do you remember that moment?
Yeah.
Can you open to sharing that with us?
Man.
Where were you? Who was there? What did it smell like?
Man. Okay. So this is a different song that made it to local fiddly radio.
Oh, you had more than one?
Yeah.
Oh,
got
wow.
a couple, not
Nice.
too many.
Well, don't downplay it. It's a big deal.
No, it was cool. But I was at work. I was a security guard at a retirement home.
Yeah.
And Power 99 was playing this other song called Cop That. It's like a hip hop song.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm at work, but I'm like, oh my God, my song's on the radio right now. And that's when everybody was on Facebook more. So I was just like, yo, it's playing right now. Call the station.
Yeah.
That
Nice.
whole thing. So it was just cool.
Very cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. When was that?
Oh man, that was some years ago. It was a while ago.
Nice.
Maybe over 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does your podcast address, you're talking a lot about the radio, which is this, sort of broadcast system that it's not going the way of the dodo, but it's definitely not a primary channel anymore.
Right.
I know for myself, I have a YouTube subscription and there's lots of stuff out there and I just pay $10 a month or 14 now. And I listen to all my music on there. I don't use Spotify. It's great, but I just don't use it.
Yeah.
What's your view on that in the podcast? You're talking about the radio and get a record deal. But what about the other distribution channels? How are those different from radio? And what do you, how would you suggest people promote themselves on those?
Well, I mean, I guess I have a hate relationship with, with
Tell us how you
Spotify
feel.
and all of them. They've cheapened what it is to be an artist. I mean, you get all the music in the world for $14.99.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine actually. He doesn't have Apple Music specifically because he wants to remember when he downloaded the song.
Right, okay.
He wants to know I like this album. When I was on my drive to Chicago, I downloaded this whole album and he knows that he, and I'm just like,
that's a thing.
So it's like a tactile thing. So I don't really have a lot of, I don't have a lot of good advice for that. I don't want you to grow on Spotify. I want you to grow your own platform.
Right.
I want direct to consumer. Build your own website, push it to your own people.
Okay.
If it happens to get on Spotify and people love it, great. But they're paying you nothing.
Pennies for your actual hard work.
Less than a third of a penny. So.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So this is an interesting question here because it doesn't feel like it applies, but maybe it does. Or maybe you once had a limiting belief that would block you from taking on this podcast.
Yeah.
If there was one, what would that be?
I just thought it'd be boring.
Boring for you or boring for others?
No, for me, I would bore people.
Okay. And no one would listen to it.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, what's this guy talking about?" Boo-hoo.
Yeah. We happen to have an audience here. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in this podcast?
Yeah. All right.
We just crushed that limiting belief. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Cool. Nice.
I'll try.
Yeah. You do it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'm Natalie Ruffino Wilson here at the podcast party interviewing Doug, who I am meeting for the first time. Doug, you have a current podcast, is that right?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Exciting. Yeah. What exactly are you wanting to do with the podcast? Why are you here?
Yeah. So I'm really here because I'm neurodivergent. And that's my tribe. We're just a little different. You'll fit right in.
And I kind of feel that way about most of all y'all.
That's fair. I think we're all a little figuring it out.
In true neurodivergent form, I just want to do something a little different. And I'm not crying, so that's good. But
It would be okay if you were.
I know.
I was crying earlier when you guys were talking.
I will
was
just
like-
burst into tears randomly.
We're gonna get along just fine.
Well, you're pregnant, But,
Well, it was before that.
okay. Yeah, neurodivergent. So I have this diagnosis called ADHD,
Okay.
right? And a diagnosis is important in this culture for services and such, but it's a terrible identity. And it's truly not an identity.
No.
It's a way that you're seen by certain people. But owning my neurodivergence that's really empowering because we are different. This lyric is in my head, I don't know. What you see is what you are, and what you are is beautiful. I just wanted to say that to all of you.
Yeah. We are all beautiful.
And what you see is what you are is so powerful. We, as neurodivergent folk, see differently. We are not here to fit in. We're here to stand out in important ways. I believe we are the crash test dummies on the front of the humanity bus. And we experience things full on. Our
That is
humanity
a
is on our
image.
sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I really want us to celebrate it. I have all kinds of weird ideas, and I want to express those, and I want to hear from my tribe. I have learned, I have ADHD, so I can't do this. I can't do that. You know what? I found out all my friends have ADHD. Like not all of them, but so many. And they do all these things that I can't do. So it's like, no, that's just my particular manifestation.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. That doesn't mean somebody with ADHD can't go out there and crush it.
I mean, that's the case for just people in general, I think, right? Like,
Yeah.
as an artist, I'm a filmmaker, and I think filmmakers are storytellers. There could be a person who loves, a documentary, and they want to focus on that. Like, I've done 2 healthcare documentaries that I've supervised, produced, but that's not where my heart. Like, I'm really invested in it because I'm like, the healthcare industry in the United States is really fucked up, and I think everybody needs to know about it. But then the other side of me is like, I really love just telling stories, and I just want to hear your story and be like, oh my gosh, my mind goes like, you're a source, now I get to create using your story so that I can help tell your story through another medium. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's an interesting idea. I actually have somebody in my life who has ADHD, and she was talking about how she felt she would be like, okay, I'm doing this. Oh wait, the dishes need to be done. Oh wait, I need to go do this. And she never felt like she could complete something. Yeah. And she thought something was wrong with her. But when she was diagnosed, she felt like she finally had a second to just take it. Like, oh, nothing's actually wrong with me. This is just who I am, and now I'm getting to take a step in a path that I understand.
So there's another reality that people can really struggle with who have ADHD, and I'm glad she's not one of them. It's called RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria.
Oh.
Now, I believe that your eyes are about 95% projector and 5% camera. So literally, what you see is who you are. Mm-hmm. And there was a reason I said that.
All of us want to know.
Yeah, no, I do too. Say again? Louder? Oh, yeah. Okay. With RSD, the transition that your friend had doesn't happen.
Okay.
Because
I see.
RSD is rejection sensitivity dysphoria. So when I say your eyes are 95% projectors,
Right.
it makes the possibility of actual rejection almost nothing. Rejection is a story that your brain makes up to explain something that was disappointing. And people who have neurodivergent brains can get dysphoria, which is this horrible anguish and pain. I once had it for like a 9-month period. And it's your brain never gets a break.
What do you think? Is it something that's like a biological thing you're born with, or is something like a traumatic event happens?
It's both. So
Okay.
the predisposition biologically comes from being ADHD.
Oh, okay.
Because in a normal brain, when you focus, all the background noise stops. This is something I know nothing about. Because when somebody with ADHD focuses, you still have 5 thoughts at a time coming at you. But if they're mixed up with judgment and self-criticism, or disappointment about the world, whatever it is, that disturbs your identity development. So I'm a health psychologist, and I'm so committed to people having a healthy sense of their identity. So
Do you think that there are practices, like I remember a while
100%.
back, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, I was talking to my agent and she said, I feel like your auditions, you're just rushing through them. And I'm like, she's like, what's going on in your life right now? I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. I have so much going on right now. So she had me start writing letters as like a practice. And I'm not struggling with this particular thing, but I found that slowing down in a world that is ever going and just constantly feeling like you're trying to catch up with technology, that slowing down helps. Are there practices that people can kind of help
first
navigate?
one is put your phone down.
Put your phone down, people.
That's the first practice. But who said it earlier? Sitting still.
Yeah.
She said, sitting still. This is how the spiritual enlightenment comes. And so,
The simplest things.
When we learn to trust ourselves,
Yeah.
because everything isn't referenced out there somewhere, and this touches so many things, like male identity. I've heard so much about toxic masculinity, and when I hear the word masculinity, what comes up in my brain is toxic masculinity. I'm like, how about some healthy masculinity?
Yeah.
How about that?
That's interesting.
The difference between a boy and a man is a boy follows all the rules, and that's how he is good. A man follows his heart, which is beyond all the rules.
That's what I'm teaching him. He's going to learn how to follow his heart. Yeah, I want to make a good one.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, it's been really nice to sit here and talk with you.
I want to hear yours.
Oh, yours sounds so much more important than mine right now. I'm starting a podcast called Studio Monroe, hence the hat. I did not make these. So I'm a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker since I was about 16. I'll be 39 next month. And it kind of just, I started off as an actor. And then, I was waiting tables and doing the whole thing. I feel his story with the whole recording artist thing. And then I started PAing around 27, and I worked on a TV show in town, and I've just done a lot of different things over the years. Lived in New York for a stint. And about 6 years ago, I started producing. So I had a movie on Apple TV, and I've had 2 movies in the theaters in the last couple of years. And I feel like I've had this really wonderful opportunity because as an actor, I've been in front of the camera, which is terrifying. And I understand the process of getting to that point. I've also done background work. I've literally done all of them, but I've worked in almost every position. So I've been a key grip, I've held the boom, I've worked in like wardrobe. I wouldn't try to do like HMU or anything, but I've edited and I've done like, camera operating and stuff. And as a producer, I feel like I get to see the crew. And I think there's so many podcasts that highlight directors and producers and writers and actors, which they are so important. But no one's really talking about the crew. Like, what is an assistant director? What does a gaffer do? These are the people that are making your stuff. So it kind of stems, the title of the show is Marilyn Monroe said that, she knew she wasn't a star all alone. It was the people that made her that. But I'm taking it a step further and saying it was also the crew behind everything that she was doing.
100%.
Yeah, so it's going to be a combination of crew interviews, and then I've got a setup last month. We've been getting anonymous stories from crew around Nashville and the southern region, and I'm turning those into sketch comedies.
Wonderful.
Where I do like radio plays basically. So we've got some actors in town and stuff that I'll be like acting with them and kind of bringing it back to like the Lucille Ball days because that's my jam. And it's just so my idea is to entertain, inspire, and educate. So if you're a student in Indiana and you're like interested in filmmaking, listen to my podcast, maybe you'll learn something. Or if you're a moviegoer and you just love the movies, I can talk to you about how, Castaway, they filmed the movie on an actual island, and they couldn't use any of the sound because they were on an actual island. And so Tom Hanks essentially had to act that movie twice because he ADR'd the entire movie almost. And so it's just cool stuff like that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
You too.
Hello.
Hello. Mark, welcome to the podcast party.
I love a party.
Tell me, do you have a podcast?
I do.
Tell
I have
me.
a podcast called The Parallel Entrepreneur. And it's about my lived experience first and the journey that entrepreneurs have when they become serial entrepreneurs as a label. But actually, I believe most of us are parallel entrepreneurs. We're doing more than one thing at the same time. So I try to explore what I've learned, what other parallel entrepreneurs know, and figure out what their superpowers. And I don't really spend a lot of time in self-limiting beliefs. I find that most of them don't have them, but then of course we all do. So there we go. We'll dig into that.
Okay. I think for me, I feel like you described humans, that we are all doing multiple things all the time. So to be, you're describing a specific type of human, right? An entrepreneur, someone who's starting new companies.
I guess my audience is anybody, but I'm usually speaking with pretty well-developed entrepreneurs who are reflecting back on how many different companies that they've been responsible for and how they balanced that life experience or didn't. And I think we're all super creative, multifaceted humans. And I agree that exploring, giving ourselves permission to do more than one thing is actually probably at the heart of what we're talking about.
How is it that you have been able to give yourself permission to do so many things?
I try to hold myself accountable to finish what I start, which then keeps me from being too broad. But my interests are many, and I want to learn all the time. And I get bored if I'm not learning. I think that I'm really coming to grips with becoming and learning how to be a host of a conversation. And so that was a part of my learning experience, was just getting outside the I'm a guest and getting into I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody I really enjoy. And if they're exploring and finding out things about themselves, I am too. And it's just a conversation that I want to have. And if we record it and anybody listens, that's great.
It sounds like your desire to not be bored in life and to always be discovering something new, that being able to sit behind a microphone and interview other people and find out what they're doing is a way that you're satisfying that need.
Yeah, asking better questions is at the heart of being interested and not being interesting.
So what are you interested in right now?
I'm interested in the podcast. Oh, I'm doing a podcast. I'm interested in the podcast that you want to do. And so I wanted to turn it around on you.
Are you sure?
No, I'm scared of you talking about this.
So the podcast that I've wanted to do for years is basically a podcast about us. It would be, the working title is Love in the Making, because it is always in the making. We are still always human and always figuring it out.
Why are you looking at me when you're saying you were all we're human?
Well, it would be the first part of it. I think maybe the first 4 episodes or 5 maybe would be how we met. It would be this story of how we met, which is full of drama, like a episode that includes a boat and water and actually saving someone's life, and also meeting each other when we were with other people. So talking about a very generally socially taboo thing.
Yeah, that got complex.
The fallout, and also I think our falling away from each other, because you meet someone, you're just like alive. They make you feel things that you've never felt before about who you are. And anyway, then there is the next season, which can be difficult. And
Yeah.
it was for us.
So was that a 7-year itch, or was that just you figuring out how to get through to me? What was the secret?
This is what we are going to talk about once we get past the story and just the fact that we don't have it all figured out. That, like, we tell ourselves stories, right? The story I'm telling myself about how this is going is, whatever. The story I tell myself about how we have made this work again and how we are actually love in the making right now, not just back then, but like we wake up and we're happy. What you were saying, Ra, like we get to dream about this. This is the dream we always had, right? To find someone.
I knew you were the woman of my dreams when I met you, and then we fell into some old habits over time. And pulling away from each other, what did that feel like?
It was terrible. It was like dangling my feet over the edge of an abyss, but being willing to jump if this wasn't working, and if we couldn't get it to work, because we had both already been there and done that, and we weren't going to do it again. We were determined to be true to ourselves. And part of, I think, our coming back into love with each other, finding what we have now, what we continue to find, was coming back to who we are. Exactly everything that everybody's been talking about, which is loving ourselves first, knowing who the fuck we are in the first place, not who culture, programming, all of these, everything that we've inherited. So
how many episodes have you recorded?
We sat down for about a 2-hour, maybe even 3 hours, and we recorded, I think, probably 3 episodes that we could break up into 3 episodes. And I think we've got 2 more of the actual story that happens back then to get to now. And now is what's so exciting to me, to talk about this messy thing that we're doing together every day.
You've been after me for a long time to start a podcast, and then I did it. But the one that scares me more than the podcast I've got 42 episodes of is the one you're talking about.
It scared me too.
Thank you, Music City Work Club.
And you heard me here first, folks. It's just amazing the magic that happens in this space. We love it. My name is Mage. I'm from Nashville. I love this place. There are so many stories that need to be told, including each and every one of you alls. I'm here at Music City Work Club. Honeypot Studio is the studio that is based here, and I manage the space. So if you have any questions about how to book the space, how to preserve your story, how to load the canon so you can share your message and your media with the world, please let me know. We can exchange contacts. Please exchange contacts with everybody here. Let's create a community together. That's the intention here. Community gathering space so we can collectively elevate. I also just created a WhatsApp group. So if you want to be added to the WhatsApp group, I have a special subgroup for the podcast party. So all the stuff that we're doing here, everything that we just created here, share it through that. And I'm just very humbled by everybody's share and willingness to participate. And I'm so grateful for this space. And thank you to Robert and Rachel and Deja and everybody of the crew in here. It's not just me. It takes a whole entire community to make this kind of stuff happen. So, and thank you to Grace, who was interested in learning how to do switching and stuff like that. So we had a friend pop in like that. And so basically we were building the community right here. So if you want to be involved in this space, again, this is community supported. Each and every one of you all are making this happen. So make some noise for yourself. Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. So I appreciate this. And like I said, try to do this every month, the fourth Thursday. And And I definitely want to cross-pollinate and help you all lift up your channels too. So let's follow each other on all the social medias, share each other's content. I mean, it really does take each and every one of us participating and connecting with each and every one of us. And another thing too, like your friend's stuff. Like I see so many people just sitting there scrolling through Instagram, liking other people's stuff that they never met and will never meet. But if your friend is out there putting their heart and soul into something, please like your friend's stuff, share it. Please, come on. Like, for real. These people didn't get there by just random coincidence. They had a network behind them. They had a group of people helping and supporting them. So I'm Mage, and you can become a member here too. So talk to Rachel, talk to Robert, talk to Deja. You can become a coworker here, and members of the space get discounts, 25% discount to the podcast studio. So until next time, everybody, Mage Podcast Party #1 is in the books. Yeah.